All right, guys, we are live for the first pitch from Pitch Mina Live. So if you guys saw the first two sessions from today, we had Eli David from Startup Link who unpacked for us kind of a data-driven approach to the state of the MENA startup ecosystems. Obviously, Israel, Dubai, and Saudi are some of the top ecosystems in the region. I think a lot of you, just like myself, were surprised by some of the rankings. But it seems like there is a ton of momentum building in the region right now. And as we've talked before, the regional integration of the Middle East and North Africa startup ecosystems is a much easier task than, say, Europe, where they have different languages, different cultures. The Arab world is something that is much more easier to integrate than some of the global fragmented ecosystems that we experience in other parts of the world. If you guys are just tuning in, welcome to the Ecosystem Arabia Virtual Summit. We had two really special sessions this morning. We have two amazing sessions later today. But for the next 2.5 hours, guys, we're going to be featuring the finals of Pitch MENA Live. This has been a 16 startup live stream pitch competition that's been running for the past 6 weeks. We've had 16 startups competing for at least 2 spots. And today we have Khalid from Alguru, who is a Saudi Arabia-based edtech startup that's going to be pitching some angel and VC funds from all around the world. I see you all joining at the bottom. We have Elizabeth, Runo, and Eze on. Hello, guys. I'm going to bring you guys on the screen in just a little bit. We are, okay, I see Khalid has been joined as well. Khalid, I'm going to bring you up to the screen in a couple minutes. Let's see, we have about 82 of you all watching over on YouTube. Guys, feel free to hop over onto Hopin. That's our virtual event software platform that we're using for this. That's where you're going to be able to network with other people. We've kept the email list extremely curated for this event. Extremely high quality. There's about 250 people that we've limited it to. And we want to make sure that you guys who are networking and experiencing that only are connecting with the highest quality stakeholders of the Middle East and North Africa startup ecosystem. But we're going to get started in just a couple minutes. Again, this is an interactive session. So for the 90 of you that are tuning in over on YouTube, either come over into Hopin or post in the comments and we can see you there and I can bring you up on the screen. But right now, I'm about to bring Khalid to the stage to introduce Alguru, and then we'll get into the pitch, guys. Again, this is a Shark Tank style pitch. So we have 3 judges / sharks with us today. They're either going to make an angel investment of themselves, or they're going to provide some sort of value or introduction to Khalid, or they're just going to drop out if they do not like the deal. But Khalid, we're going to bring you to the stage now. Welcome. Where are you coming to us from today, Khalid?
Hey everyone, speaking to you from Saudi actually. I'm in Riyadh, the capital.
Yeah, beautiful. I've never been. I know you said that I need to come and we're going to party it away, or excuse me, we're going to have very formal professional meetings and no partying, and we'll have
Yeah,
fun.
the party side comes after that. Keep everything formal.
Hey, work hard, play hard, man. That's what we're all about on this platform. I see we now have 144 of you guys tuning in on YouTube. Again, guys, feel free to hop over onto Hopin. 162. Wow. Awesome, guys. Well, a lot of love coming for Khalid. Khalid, really excited to have you with us today. We're going to get right into things. And just so you all know, we are live. This is not one of those pre-recorded webinars. Let me show you the time. Right now, it is 9:33 Eastern Standard Time, 9:44 Eastern Standard Time. All right. We're going to have a lot of fun today, guys. Khalid, I'm going to put you off to the side and we're going to introduce our judges. So let me do that real quick. So first off, I want to actually, here's what I'm going to do first. For those of you who were not able to tune in to the first episode, the EdTech episode of Pitch MENA Live, I want to bring up the final deliberation that we had from the judges. So let me do that for you guys right now. All right, guys. So that was the final decision that the judges made in our previous EdTech round, and that advanced Khalid to the finals. Let me now bring up. Sorry, 1 second. Ooh, there it is. All right. So now let's introduce the judges for today's pitch. Elizabeth, I'm going to bring you to the stage. So we have Elizabeth Fullerton joining us, I believe, from Silicon Valley. Elizabeth, where are you joining us from?
From San Francisco. Good morning.
San Francisco. All right. Beautiful. How's the weather in San Francisco, Elizabeth?
Hopefully it'll burn off and we won't have any rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never been down this way, especially winters here in California. So
winter is coming. That is right. Usually, you know, the move, typically you spend winter in Dubai, right? And then you come in the summer to Silicon Valley or Austin because apparently it gets way too hot in Dubai in the summer. You can't do it. So, or Khalid, how's the weather in Saudi Arabia like in the summer? Is it hot?
Well, let me tell you that we only know the winter for 2 weeks across the whole year.
That's the life, man. Especially with COVID now.
Summertime here.
All that matters is internet connection and nice weather. That's it, you know. That's it.
The 5G's covering everything here, so we're good.
Beautiful. All right. So next up we have Eze Vidra. And Eze, let me bring you to the stage and confirm for me if I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
It's actually easy, like Sunday morning.
Easy. Did you prepare that beforehand?
Well, I've been living with my name for a while, so but I accept Eze. It's short for Ezekiel, actually.
Got it. Awesome. Well, Eze is the managing partner at Reimagine Ventures. He was previously the general partner at Google Ventures Europe. So Eze, really happy to have you here.
Great
and we will introduce our final judge, who is also another name that I think I'm going to be pronouncing correctly, but you're going to have to definitely correct me if I'm not. But Runo Alakivi is joining us, who's the head of Funderbeam Nordics. He's a lead mentor at Techstars Nordics, and he's an angel investor in his own right with an amazing beard that I'm super jealous of. You're going to have to give me some tips on, you know, what I can do to be more like you. Maybe Eze can use some tips as well from you. Hello, everyone. And Runo, your audio is a little bit low. We could hear you. We could hear you, but it's a little like faded. No worries. It's still a little bit quiet, but we'll let you kind of toy around with that on your end, and then we will bring our guest judge actually to the stage that is with us. I see Joy down there. Joy is a amazing entrepreneur, probably the #1 female entrepreneur in the Middle East and North Africa region. She is joining us, and she's going to be a guest judge for us today. Joy, welcome to Pitch Mina Live.
Hi, everyone.
All right.
Nice.
Glad to have you here. So we have a pretty all-star global lineup right here. We have someone from Silicon Valley side, Dubai side, Israel, and representing the Nordics. So all around, we have a great lineup of guest judges with us today. Khalid, I'm going to bring you back to the stage. I'm going to put the judges all behind the scenes. All right, man. So feel free to share your screen, and then we will get into your pitch. So guys, basically the format for today is we're going to start up. Khalid's going to give us his pitch. He's going to have as much time as he needs to do that. Then we're going to dive a little bit into his numbers, however much he's comfortable of sharing with the Sharks. And then the part 2 of today is going to be diving into product. So we're going to dive into the Alguru product, really well built. We saw it during the EdTech episode. And then we're going to get into judge decisions. And so the Sharks will either be able to make Khalid an offer. The judges will be able to make Khalid any value add, whether it's specific introductions they want to make. I know Funderbeam has a really awesome program for startups. So I'm keen to hear how Runo wants to play this, whether he's interested in making angel investment herself, or if he thinks that maybe Funderbeam might be a better fit for Alguru. But Khalid, I'm going to hand the mic over to you. And right before I do that, again, guys, I see 139 of you guys over on YouTube. Feel free to pop over into Hopin, where we're facilitating all of our networking, super high quality fan base that we have with us today. Khalid, I'm going to give you a countdown, and then the floor is going to be yours in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead.
So good morning or good afternoon, wherever you're based, everyone. We spend almost 1/3 of our life studying in educational institutions, from KG, schools, universities, and then postgraduate programs, if any. If one thing's for sure about this fact is that education has never been more significant to our lives. And today, what's even more important for both parents and students is maintaining high academics standings and excellence, of course, at their universities or schools, which is frequently complemented by tutoring, an experience that gives students individualized attention that they don't get that these students don't get in typical crowded classrooms. So my name is Khalid Abbas, and I'm here to tell you about how innovative the EdTech solution is that Al Guru is trying to provide to the EdTech industry, basically. So in a study we conducted in Saudi recently and across Lebanon, we realized that it takes students or their parents approximately 3 to 4 hours to find a tutor. And even after they find one, it's very difficult for them to assess the tutor's reliability because they don't have any transparent information about the tutor's program, the tutor's background. And so you can only imagine that you want to hire a tutor for, let's say, your 12-year-old kid who's having a difficult time with his grade 8 physics. Currently in the MENA region, you don't have a centralized platform to find a tutor on. Your kid's school probably doesn't have a tutoring center, and you have no other option but to ask your WhatsApp network for some tutors whom you also might know nothing about their backgrounds, as we mentioned earlier. So this brings us to the fact that you are limited by the options of tutors that you can get for yourself, for your children. So what we're doing is we're Uberizing the tutoring industry. We're making this very simple for both the students and the tutors. What we're doing is we're building a knowledge sharing community on a mobile application for students that come from different levels and different backgrounds, regardless if they're in schools or in universities, and for tutors who have experience in tutoring or they're probably just new at this. So we started our operations earlier in 2018 in Lebanon and recently expanded to Saudi with the objective of organizing the chaotic tutoring industry that we have across the MENA region. And to date, our solution is actually impacting the students' academic performance at their schools and universities, which is verified by almost 83% of our customers who report increase in their grades after using our platform and after using our services, actually. What our products offer is basically convenience for both users. Students or their parents can find and compare different tutor profiles, rates, bios, or even choose to post their assignments through the platform and get connected to experienced tutors right away to help them solve the homework or assignment. While tutors, on the other hand, can use our app to manage their tutoring business, set their own hourly rates and schedules flexibly, and even track their earnings and manage their sessions all through the application. And of course, just in case you're wondering, we vet our tutors who are actually highly dependable freelance educators. They're neither part-timers nor full-timers at our platform. While you don't need to be an experienced tutor to join our community, we look at basic things like grades and communication skills, grades for the subjects that you want to tutor on the platform, and of course, communication skills to make sure that you have the capabilities to share the knowledge that you have in a decent way with the student. This allows us to pre-screen and examine our tutors' caliber before displaying their profiles to students on our app, whom, of course, if they weren't satisfied with the tutor's teaching style after booking with them, they can choose to receive the session free of charge without paying a dime. Market in the MENA region, for those of you who don't come from the MENA region, is extremely appealing when we speak about tutoring. So in Saudi alone, for example, where we're basing our operations at the time being, we're targeting a $500 million untapped market, which has more than 400,000 addressable users that have an appetite for tutoring. Aside from the fact that a huge dependence for tutoring exists in the GCC, which is basically, of course, verified by educational studies made by McKinsey and the World Bank. As for our profit and how we generate money, it's very simple and it's very easy for the time being. It comes from a 15% fee that we charge from the student and not from the tutor on every tutoring hour booked on the application. So as mentioned earlier, tutors are free to set their own hourly rates on the app. We charge nothing from them till now till the stage for the hours or for the hourly rate that they charge these tutors. But as we scale, we plan to offer packages for students and actually reconsider freemium solutions for our tutors. And until then, we actually have a thirst to benefit from the bits and pieces of the unfair advantage, if I may call it, that COVID and the educational shift from offline to online reflected on the charts of the global tutoring market specifically, which is reported to see 7% growth on the global level within the next 4 years or so. So the timing is almost perfect for us to pave this online shift and ensure quality complementary education is provided to the youths across the MENA region, specifically over the next 5 years or so. And to date, we have matched hundreds of students with alike tutors over thousands of sessions, as we're going to see in a second, and grew at an average of 15% every month on month. We saw a great increase in our North Star, which is basically the total number of tutoring hours booked through our platform from the minute we started our operations. And all of this has happened on an organic level. We had not expensed not even a dime on ads or on marketing. All of that was basically the reflection of network effect over the years. We also generated more than $180,000 in sales up to date, while having a growing customer lifetime value. Actually, what we started off with a CLV of almost $250, and today we stand at the CLV of that ranges between $350 to $400. And we did all of that, guess what? On WhatsApp. Well, honestly, because we were just too poor to hire developers at our early stages, and we didn't want to outsource this product to anyone. And actually, this benefited us rather than stalled us. Actually, using WhatsApp, it really benefited us because unlike our competitors currently in the region, we got the chance to have daily human interactions and communications with both of them, actually, the service seekers and the service provider, as in like the students and the tutors. And we did that for 2 straight years. This would not only give us a handful of insights regarding what these users seek to have from a platform like ours, but it also allowed us to carve the product roadmap to meet the needs of these students and tutors for the years to come. We're making tutoring accessible to all by focusing on pricing at the time being and by focusing on features that aren't offered in other platforms. And today, after successfully bootstrapping and raising an initial pre-seed investment of $150,000, we built a solid team of 9 fully dedicated talents, accompanied by 2 outstanding advisors that come from very successful companies. And we're working all together remotely from 6 different countries with a great synergy, building everything in-house, from technology to marketing to sales and designs. So far, we're proudly accelerated by KAUST Taqaddam Accelerator Program here in Saudi Arabia, and we are incubated by AUB's iPark. And we also recently placed one of the top 10 finalists in the UAE's Etisalat Startup Competition and won second place award in the Seed Stars Global Competition recently as well. And today we're raising a seed investment round of $350,000. Basically, this investment is expected to help us serve at least 800 students in 2021 in Saudi alone, promote our product across Saudi and across Bahrain, the country that is right next to us, set up the fundamentals for our expansion in Bahrain, and invest in uplifting our product and making it more effective to our users. And we're surely very excited and very proud to be here, actually. And we aspire to receive your support to help us move forward and scale our business. Thank you for your time.
All right, great job, Khaled. And there's a little bit of background noise that we're hearing. And by the way, guys, I'm getting your messages. It looks like the YouTube feed, for some reason, just cut out. Went from like 100 viewers to 3. So I will figure out what's going on there. But in the meantime, again, guys, hop on over to Hopin, our virtual event software platform. That is where we're doing all the networking, all the interactions. So what we're going to do, Khaled, before we dive into product, let's bring the judges and the sharks up to the stage. We're going to have a quick Q&A session. Joy, Easy, Bruno, Elizabeth, welcome to the stage. We'll take about 10 minutes for any questions that you guys have for Khaled. And then right after that, we'll get into the product part of the show. So anyone is welcome to ask any questions about the traction, the numbers, anything that Khaled just presented.
How's my mic?
It's still a little bit hard to hear you. Maybe can you yell? You look like you have a loud voice.
I do. My little 6-month-old is sleeping next door, so I can't scream too loud. But I'll try to be as loud as I can. You guys were showing off with the good weather. I'm in Iceland. I haven't seen sun for a very long time. First of all, Khalid, well done. Really nice done pitch. Seems that you've put a lot of thought into it. Seems you guys have traction. I do have a bunch of questions here, but I tried to keep it short. One of the questions I was just thinking on top of my head is as a marketplace, right? So you always work with two sides. Which of the sides are you targeting first or have targeting first? Are you the supply or demand? And what do you believe is more critical for successful scaling of that model?
So that's an excellent question. Thank you for the question, Bruno. So for example, we're entering the Saudi market now. We recently expanded here, and we're setting the fundamentals of our business here. What we're doing now, this is actually what we're practicing, is we're reaching out to the supply side before reaching out to the demand. And it only makes sense because we don't want to have the demand. We don't want to have the students and the tutors, with the students or their parents on our application and start searching for courses that they find no tutors for example, here on a local level. So we launched several online and offline campaigns to recruit tutors, and it's working perfectly well. And we plan to actually launch the application after we have at least 100 or 120 tutors that cover the major subjects like physics, maths, and the basic school and elementary subjects. This is what we're trying to do.
You say that the target market is 500 million. How did you come to that number?
So for the market sizing, basically what we did is we got the number of students in schools and universities. We used reports by McKinsey and by the World Bank, and these reports basically included assumptions regarding the tutoring industry. They were last updated in 2018. We couldn't find anything more recent than that. And basically what we did is we made some assumptions of our penetration in this market, and we assumed that we can have a conservative, very fair 0.002% penetration for the first year in this market. And of course, we multiplied it by the estimated CLV or the estimated purchasing value that these students or their parents put on tutoring every single year. And what we noticed from our market study and from some questions that we asked investors in the Saudi market, etc., about the tutoring industry specifically, we realized that the average CLV is approximately between $1,200 and $1,300 per year. So we multiplied all these together, and we got the $500 million that we presented on the slide.
Quick last question, so other judges have time as well. Why did you choose to go into the tutoring business instead of online education as a much more broad market to enter?
So I would actually love to tell you about the story, but our startup today actually started from the passion that I had for tutoring. I was a tutor from 2016 till 2019, probably right after I founded Al Guru, and it was only until 2018 when my network of students was growing that I realized there's an inexistence of a centralized platform that matches students with professional tutors. We do have platforms like Noon Academy, like Khan Academy, that give the content themselves, but sometimes students or their parents, they want to be matched with private one-on-one tutors, and this is basically what we're after.
If we have time, I have more questions, but I'll give time for others as well. I don't want to take all the time.
Please.
Can I go next? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Please, yes.
Morning. Yeah, I was wondering, why did you decide to not charge the tutors and get commission off of them?
Well, that's an excellent question. One thing that marketplace platforms like ours always fear and risk is, of course, circumvention. Uber, Careem, Airbnb, and all of that. If we're talking on a very high scale, these marketplaces or platforms will never be able to eliminate circumvention. But what we can do is actually minimize it. So for us, it's very easy for a tutor to take the student outside the application, or for the student to ask the tutor to go outside the application to save themselves like the $4 or $5 extra that they pay. One way we found out that we can minimize this risk of circumvention is by not charging anything from the tutor at the time being. So you as a tutor are free to use our platform, manage your sessions, track your earnings, do everything on the app, price your own hourly rate, and we're not going to take anything from you, but just stay on the application. This is all what we need from you. Aside from that, of course, another way that we're fighting circumvention through our platform on the supply side is that we have a stats table on the profile of each tutor. Of course, you as a student can go in, check how many students this tutor has provided tutoring support to, how many hours he's given, and all of that. So you as a tutor, of course, you'd want to build up your profile on our platform and not do the opposite.
Yeah, but how do you guys feel when a student goes to the tutor and says, hey, let's cut a deal. I don't want to pay that extra $7 per session. How would you circumvent that?
Why would you as a tutor do that if the application is basically recording the sessions that you're taking and ranking you up? We already have a ranking algorithm for tutors. So if you're going in, you're searching for a calculus tutor, and on our platform, we have 10 different calculus tutors. We don't rank them randomly. We have sort of like an SEO for ranking. So this ranking algorithm takes into account 12 different factors, one of which is, of course, the number of tutors you've booked through the application, the ratings, the reviews, and all of that. So you have, you can go ahead outside the application, but it's going to be your loss. It's not going to be any like benefiting you in any way.
So I didn't realize you guys were recording the sessions. And how does
No, we don't record the sessions.
Oh, you don't record the sessions. Okay.
No. We don't, but the student has the option to do that, of course.
A very good question, Elizabeth. I have the same, Khalid, but it's a good answer. However, isn't tutor, something as of, have your barber is you don't want to go back to the same person. You develop a relationship. Also, as a tutor, these are man hours that every person has to spend, which means you can't have an army of students. It's only a handful of students that you can effectively tutor. So let's say that now I have my 5 to 10 students that maybe over the week or a month that I go to. I think Elizabeth's question is still very valid. If I have my set of students that I'm not going to tutor for the next 3 years, what is stopping me from just, I already have pre-existing relationship?
Excellent question. So let me tell you what we consider ourselves to be for tutors. We don't consider ourselves to be a solution provider. Actually, we consider ourselves to be a management solution for their business. So we're partners to them, actually. So we don't consider ourselves to be anything but a partner to the business that they're doing. This is why, again, we're not charging them anything at the time being. If a tutor, for example, one thing that we're constantly trying to build and do with our tutors is build loyalty with them so that we can keep them on the application. And again, because we're offering all these different features to them to facilitate how they manage these sessions, how they manage the business, and of course, especially that when you reach the peak seasons and semesters and you have a bunch and a handful of students that you want to tutor at the end of the semester, our application makes it extremely easy for you to manage these sessions, these different sessions of yours. So up to date, we've had students that book with a tutor and come back after a month or two. Retention rates are extremely high. They would come back after a month or two and they would still book with that specific tutor. Why is that? Of course, the only logical explanation to that for us is because the tutor wants to have everything recorded on the application. They don't want to go out. They're getting paid the same exact amount. They're managing everything efficiently and effectively. They're comfortable using the app.
Khalid, I have a question for you. First, I think it's impressive what you've done with the limited budget and how you started on WhatsApp and only later built the platform.
Thank you, Izzy.
What's coming up on the roadmap? I mean, like you're raising 350, the business is already sort of like working. Is most of that budget going to marketing or to product development? And if so, like what do you think is missing? And like what are your priorities?
So if I want to break down the investment quickly, currently, the way we started in Lebanon, highly dependent on the network effect and highly dependent on organic growth. I'm very sorry for the voice around me. So we highly depended on organic growth because we didn't have any money, of course, to buy ads. and it only makes sense because Lebanon is a very small market already. For Saudi, it's very different. First of all, COVID has locked down all the universities and schools, so we can't have any offline activations. We can't go put booths in schools and institutions and sell the people or the students our service. We can't do that, unfortunately. Aside from this, is the fact that we need, for Saudi specifically, because we have more than 100 universities and thousands of schools, we need a huge budget to advertise and to create awareness in the top tier universities and schools, not everywhere. So this is why we have 50%. It's not only going for online ads, of course, it's going for SEO, online ads, offline ads, and all of that. And the 30% that we need to invest it in technology is actually for a new feature that we're building. And it's something that we recently realized almost 3 months ago, is the fact that students are reaching out to us because they want tutors to assist them with assignments and homework right away directly. They don't want to sit for a full hour learning theoretical stuff. They want the practical stuff right away. So we're making it easier for them to post their assignments from the application and get instant support from tutors on the app.
Thank you.
I was wondering if you had any future plans to integrate like SATs or TOEFL tutoring, etc. Because it's really important that a lot of the students in Saudi may want to come to an English-speaking school, and they would have to require TOEFL exams.
Yes, so today we have covered more than 230 subjects up to date. These subjects include elementary, high school subjects, include university subjects, as well as postgraduate subjects. By postgraduate subjects, I mean test preps like the GMAT, SATs, TOEFL, of course, and all of that. We have tutors that are specialized in test prep subjects, by the way. So it's not only school and university. And as a matter of fact, only 7 months ago, almost, I was in touch with. I don't know if you're familiar with the platform. There's a platform called almentor.net, which basically matches professionals from the workforce with tutors from the same discipline. So you're an accountant, you want to grow in your discipline, they match you with someone who has a CPA level 3, for example. That's what they do. So we were discussing a potential for partnership and collaboration when we're expanding in the near future, and we want to look at the professional industry and not just the schools. So as you can imagine, tutoring is not only limited to schools and universities. We have so many opportunities. They're limitless, especially here in the MENA, guys, because honestly, people are putting so much money on education, and these, like the tutoring industry, as I really mentioned, it is extremely untapped with a lot of opportunities. So there's a lot of things to study, but the SATs and the GMAT, just to be very brief, are already subjects that we're covering through the app.
And then how would you make it more inclusive? Because there are many students who are not wealthy and cannot afford tutors. How would you, I guess, provide that for them? Is there any scholarship that you consider?
No, for the time being, we're only relying on charging the students a 15% fee on every hour, and we're the cheapest, by the way. The average and the benchmark that tutoring centers, for example, or tutoring platforms are pricing, the range is between 20 to 25. We decided to go with a 15% margin because we are able to allocate that, and it's great with our budget. Doesn't affect us, and because we envision to become price leaders of the tutoring industry and change the ideology that tutoring, you know what, it's luxurious, no one can have access to it unless you have money. We want to change that, and we're working on
stop
it.
You because I think you might not be understanding my question, but here's a tip. You might want to partner with a couple foundations that will provide scholarships to make it more inclusive, and you do not leave any child behind. Because I believe that mentoring and having students tutored to give them that extra boost in their foundation is, very important for being successful future in life, right?
I think that's an excellent point that you make, Elizabeth. Especially, there are plenty of tutors that would likely offer their services for free. In this case, in order that the student receives this for free, do you have a model that allows this, or is the platform always taking a cut and services for free, your students still have to pay the platform fee.
So guys, what we're currently focusing on is just facilitating this matchmaking process for people who are looking for private tutors. Again, this is a potential, and this is something that we can probably try as a maybe CSR program to offer free tutoring services for students and provide content on our platform. But I wouldn't want to say that we're too early for that, but we're still trying to understand exactly how to optimize this relationship between students and tutors, and we're trying to do that through our platform.
Awesome. Well, thanks to the judges for those great questions. Khaled, we're now going to move to the product part of the presentation. Mr. Khaled, do you have a video you want to show, or do you want to share your screen? I guess the answer to both those things are probably yes.
Is my screen still? Am I still sharing my screen? Because apparently I am.
Yeah, you are. You have StreamYard up though, so you might want to click out to.
All right.
Yeah.
Just let me know if you
Perfect.
guys can see it.
Yep.
All right, excellent. So unfortunately, this is not a live demo because I can't log in from my phone here, but this is a recorded video and I'm going to be explaining our platform as we go. So the student or the parent can access the platform and they can start off by searching for the course. So for example, here, I'm looking for the marketing principles that is offered at PMU, one of the most reputable universities here in Riyadh. So I go in, and basically the application would give me the list of tutors that have listed this course under their profiles and that have mentioned that they can provide tutoring for this course. So I can, as we saw, I can compare the different profiles, I can compare their rates, and then I can go into their profiles and basically learn more about their bio, their degree, read reviews if anything, and then seamlessly I can jump to their schedule and basically book a session at my convenience based on the availabilities that the tutor have added, and I can confirm my session right away before, of course, I choose whether I want the session to be offline at a library, at a cafe, at my university, at my house, or online on Meets or on Zoom. We have Meets, of course, integrated right away on the application, so it's going to be very easy for the student to jump on an online session with the tutor. And basically, all I do is confirm my booking. And then, of course, I can choose to either pay by credit or by cash from the settings. And then I can review my session. I can cancel it if I want. I can reschedule it all over, all from the application right away. And then, of course, I can chat with the tutor. I can even take this chat outside if I'm more comfortable with WhatsApp or over a call or anything. But again, the purpose of the application is to link me with that qualified and vetted tutor. And then on the application, actually, I can switch the tutor if I want to apply and become a tutor, and I can submit all my application so that the Alguru team learns most about me, the attachments, everything that is needed, schedule, specify my availability, specify the subjects that I want to tutor, of course, and then record a small video so that our team basically assesses the communication skills of the tutor. And then usually it takes us 24 to 48 hours to get back to our tutors. Once we are admitted on the platform, we can edit the schedule and the availabilities that we have. We can remove, we can add the courses. So we have full control again of this management solution, that we want to use for our tutoring business. As we can see here again, the list of courses are endless, and they're basically only offered to the universities and schools or test prep programs that we're offering on the application. In case a course or a subject is not included, a student or a tutor can add it right away. So it's not limited to only what we have on our database. And of course, we can confirm, we can accept, we can reject requests, and we can chat with the student as we are seeing in front of us. So this is basically it in a nutshell. I would want to say that this is a post of an MVP product. We have tested it in Lebanon, and we have uplifted it, and we're taking it to Saudi at the time being. And our product roadmap for this year includes, of course, integrating the ranking algorithm that I was telling you about, and integrating the homework feature that I was also informing you about earlier during the pitch.
Awesome. And real quick, Khaled, when a user pays in cash, how do you take your percentage of the transaction in that case?
So we have the bank details of the tutors in case the student. So there's no upfront payments, by the way, through our platform. Students do not pay for the sessions unless the session is delivered, and we found that this is the most convenient option for both the students and the tutors, because actually a student doesn't know how many hours he might or she might need before a meeting with the tutor. So in case they pay the tutor in cash when they meet them offline, we just charge the tutor's bank account, and it's very easy. All
Got
that
it.
through our payment gateway.
That makes sense.
So you don't get involved in basically what happens in the mentoring session, right? In the tutoring session, you don't know the contents of it.
No, of course.
One of the problems I've seen in this space is that for certain students, especially these days, it's basically cheating, right? Like
We lost
some of them ask upfront for the tutor, like, hey, can you take the test for me? Can you write the paper for me? Of course, you expect the tutors to have certain ethics, but how do you sort of like police bad behavior on the platform?
Well, that's a very good point. We don't monitor the content or the session that happens between them. So again, what we consider ourselves to be is the Uber of the tutoring industry. I think that's the best way to give to simplify what we're trying to do. We don't ask the tutors to develop their own content and post it through our platform. And yeah, while we don't monitor or observe that, we have, as you saw from the vetting process, we have a very detailed vetting process that we follow to make sure that the profile that we're displaying in front of you as a student is qualified enough. If you're not satisfied, for example, if you've taken the session and you want to ethically take it to study and to learn, if you're not satisfied with the tutor, we have what we call the smart match guarantee. We basically don't charge you anything for that session. But if in case the unethical activity of asking the tutor to take that exam for them, well, I honestly don't think that there's any possible way for us to know that.
So I think my
so, unless we keep the
recommendation for
content through our platform.
My recommendation for you, if you're already following sort of like the Uber example, is to have the feedback go on both sides, and to have both sides be able to report bad behavior and also say, like, you know, this was a great student, and like the same way that you were able to say this is a great tutor.
We have that. We have dual rating, actually. So students can rate tutors and tutors can rate students and leave reviews, if that answers your question.
Yeah.
Easy. I think that's a great point. And here in the Nordics, it's very common for most schools to have an online platform of sorts. And one thing that I think makes it very valuable is that there is a direct feedback loop to the parents. So if a kid gets a bad grade or is an assignment, or it goes both ways, but also there's third party, it's the parent who's involved. Do you have any aspect of the business where the parent can also get feedback, not only from the kid, but also from the tutor? The information of, for example, what the tutor thinks needs more work on. And I understand that it's probably specific to different age groups, but at least in the school systems here in the Nordics, the parent aspect is very valuable. You can get updates pretty much throughout the whole day of how your school, how your kid is doing at school, what are the things they need to help the kid with, and so forth. Have you considered that sort of implementation for your product?
Honestly, this is a brilliant idea. Like, I'm thinking about maybe a dashboard or a way for parents to monitor and observe how well and how efficient are these sessions reflecting on their child. Unfortunately, till today, we haven't implemented anything of that sound. We've been basically focusing over the past 2 years on building this network and building the application, and that has been taking all our days and nights up till now. I think we will have more room and more space, specifically that after we secure the investment, we're going to be growing our tech team. And honestly, gentlemen and ladies and gents, I think this is something that I want to discuss with my co-founder, Omar, our tech lead, and basically see how we can give reports or we can give intuitive platforms for either the student or the parent to actually monitor and observe how well they're performing. And I think this even further decreases the circumvention rate by keeping them on the application, by keeping them, by enticing them to book with that tutor and keep everything on the platform to go back and see how well they're performing on the dashboard. Until today, again, we haven't worked on that, but thank you for raising this. Definitely an idea that I'm going to be sharing with my co-founder. We lost you again, Bruno. We lost you again. You're muted.
Sorry, I had the mute on. So sorry. But who is the ultimate decision maker? Like in most cases, at least when it comes to kids, it's the parent. Now, who's going to pay for the service? It's the parent. If you say that you charge after the tutoring session is over, and parent has no sort of direct feedback after which sessions, like how do you know that the kid is actually doing well? And I know there's a music educational app here in Iceland that was struggling with this a lot, and they had very similar to yours. They actually did a freemium model, and they had quite a bit of churn. So instead of what they did was they ended up capturing the credit card information in the beginning, because if the parent is happy with the progress that the kid is doing, the parent is unlikely or less likely to cancel the service. So, it's the parent who sets up the app for the kid, it's the parent who has to sort of monitor all of this, and it's the parent who pays for it. So I think one thing, if you haven't thought of it yet, it would be really good to add that third party, because it's not the kid putting in a credit card.
So yeah.
Well, again,
yeah,
please go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
so
Liz.
I think this is like the second or third time that we've mentioned this and said this, and so I think it would not be a disservice if you continue to create this monitoring system. I mean, you got to realize that these are children's, or as younger children sometimes need to make sure it's effective and safe for the children, right? So the monitoring process is really important.
Again, I think there's great room for potential in what we're building, specifically in the market that we are in, and I think there's a lot yet that we're willing to learn, and we're going to learn moving forward. I think I believe that we're still working on the infrastructure of this, but this potential list of the things and the features that we can add on the platform are just things that we're yet to discover as we scale the business. So just like the points that you guys, the brilliant point that you guys just mentioned.
All right,
Yeah.
so that was. Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead, Elizabeth.
If you can get feedback from a lot of your users and your tutors, right, it's really important, because your customers will help you develop product marketing in the future, and they also will define who your competitors are. And if they're not using you, who would they use? If they're not using you and there's a problem, how would they solve the problem? And this will help you define your product marketing in the future, and then who your competitors are.
Excellent.
And Khaled, when you think about your expansion strategies, beyond Saudi Arabia, like what specific markets are you most keen on entering, and like what is the scale up phase beyond Saudi look like?
So for the time being, the 5-year plan, we aspire to be across seven countries in the MENA region. This includes Saudi, Bahrain, UAE, Qatar, Lebanon, Jordan, and Egypt. I'm not sure if these are 7 or 8, but this is where we aspire to be within the next 5 years or so. Why are we focusing on the MENA? Again, because the tutoring industry, specifically in EdTech, is highly untapped. We know that it's more mature in Europe. We know that it's more mature in the States, but we know here that it's very immature, and there's a lot of potential and opportunities.
What's the end game, Khalid? What's the big exit gonna look like?
What's the big exit? Well, you guys probably know about Chegg, right? Chegg just recently. Chegg is an excellent platform. They were founded almost 10 years ago, and while their sole purpose was providing documents and resources for students, they recently, almost 5-6 years ago, started a tutoring business under their platform and under their website. to be very honest and transparent, from the day that I entered university in 2011, I had used Chegg to basically get and receive support on basically I use their references and resources basically when I had assignments or projects or whatever it is. And when I realized that they have a tutoring they launched a tutoring service, I was very excited because it was very clear for us, the team and I, that eventually if we grew to an international scale, we'd want to sell the business to Chegg because they don't have any presence for their tutoring service in the MENA region. So ideally, we would love to be part of the Chegg network internationally and globally. But yeah, I think that's something we're still yet to discuss after we start off the operations in different markets here.
So the plan is for Chegg to be to Alguru what Amazon was to Souk. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, exactly. That's a great example. That's a great local example. Exactly. If you're familiar with the and Uber and Careem, of course, same story.
Oh, of course, yeah, even better, right?
Of course, same story.
Awesome, well, Khaled, I want you to can you bring your raise back up onto the screen real quick? Your raise, your ask for the raise. Exactly. Yeah, so if you can share your screen and bring that up.
Am I still sharing? No, I'm not. So again, we're raising a seed investment round of $350,000, which is expected to cover 24 months of operations, and we expect to use this for both the Saudi market and the Bahraini market. Bahrain is an extremely small country, but has great potential when it comes to tutoring, and basically, this, of course, as I said, includes online and offline activations for marketing and growth, as well as enhancing and uplifting our current MVP product to a more solid, rigid product that meets the needs of both the tutors and the students, as well as make some new hires on the team to basically stuff that include, of course, growth hackers, accountants, and so on, business developers for Saudi specifically, and of course, leaving 5% for some operational expenditures here in Saudi.
And Khaled, is this like an open round? Have you already started raising? Like, where are you in the process with that?
We've already secured almost $220,000 of that, and we plan to close this round by next month at most. So the $220,000 that we secured are from angel investors here in Saudi Arabia, and we're still in touch with other investors here, but we do plan to close this round by next month at most.
Awesome. And so what we're going to do now, guys, is I'm going to bring each shark to the table. They're going to tell us either, yes, they're interested in participating in this round. They're either going to drop out and say this isn't a good fit for them, or they're going to ask some more questions and maybe take this offline with you. And so I'm going to start bringing the sharks to the front. Elizabeth, why don't we start with you? Do you have any final questions for Khaled?
I think I would like to see his financials, but we could do that offline, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Khaled, do you have anything that you were able to show? I know, you definitely want to be careful about showing too much, but do you have anything?
Well, we do have our data room. Of course, the basic data room has our financial models and the breakdown of what we expect to generate in terms of revenue from the different segments in the markets, in terms of expenditures, the valuation, all of that. It's a very detailed document, as you can expect. I will be more than glad to share the data room with you. You will find more than just that. So there's going to be the breakdown for the investment. There's going to be a breakdown of the market that we have here in the MENA region specifically, and much more details that I'd love if you can take a look at, and then we can maybe hopefully jump on a call and discuss them further.
Yeah, we should talk offline. Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
All right, awesome. Easy. I'm going to bring you to the stage as well. I won't hold it against you that you're wearing a Yankees hat, but we will we'll let that go.
Thanks.
Israelis love the Yankees, by the way. It's crazy. I see so many.
It's more like with my Corona haircut, I cannot not wear a hat, so I just grabbed whatever was available.
Got it.
I think again it was impressive to see basically your growth with very limited resources. I think the amount you're trying to raise is very reasonable. I would be, if I was to dig deeper on an investment, I would like to see sort of like the bigger potential, sort of like more of a regional play. And also, we didn't talk at all about competition, but someone mentioned Chegg, but you also have Brainly and many other tutoring marketplaces that are well established that could decide to enter the region. Like hire someone, put them in Saudi or Dubai, and then you're facing a potential challenge. So you need to think about how do you defend what you're building right now? How do you create a moat? And I think you're actually smart by not taking a fee from the tutors to keep them loyal and not give them an incentive to go to other pastures. But I think it's really about controlling demand and establishing yourself, and also creating some sort of loyalty mechanism that people want to stick with you, and it actually will hurt them to move to another platform.
Definitely. Thank you for the feedback, Izzy.
Cheers.
Awesome. So now I'm going to bring Runo to the stage. What are your thoughts, Runo?
Again, I think well done. You clearly, it's not your first rodeo, I assume. You are very quick to answer questions, which is great. You know your numbers. Quick two questions. The first 150 pre-seed, what was the valuation at that time, and who were the investors backing you then? And then
can I please hear the first question again?
The 150 pre-seed that you raised, what was the valuation then, and who were the investors? And the follow-on question to that, the 350 you're raising now, what will be the valuation, and how many of the first round investors will follow?
So the pre-seed investment round, family and friends, we didn't have a valuation. They actually took. We actually decided to give them 36% of our cap table. That's what happened, and yeah, because basically, yeah, I know I get that a lot. By the way, I get that a lot, but basically, I was still a recent graduate, and it's family and friends. It's not it's someone strange. So. I wouldn't want to be justifying the big number, but I understand how astonishing it is, and I would understand the reaction that you just gave.
You really need you need Funderbeam to allow these early stage investors to sell off their early investment soon. But okay, and the 350, have you set valuation, or are you doing a convertible? What are you doing now?
We're raising at a convertible with a cap of 2 million and 20% discount.
And I think I saw it somewhere on in your deck that the revenue to date is 180K.
The revenue is
180,000 USD.
Yeah, up to date, yes. So the total revenue that we've generated so far is 180 plus.
So when can we see the hockey curve stick? Or hockey stick?
Hockey curve? Because
When is that gonna happen?
No, actually we didn't have a hockey stick growth. But this is basically accumulated from the first quarter of 2019. So it grew exponentially, and the graph shows it on a per quarter basis. We actually grew exponentially at a 15% month on month. But I guess the only logical explanation why we don't have a hockey stick is because seasonality hits hard when it comes to sales with us. It really hits hard. So
how much equity do you own today in the company, you and your co-founder? Is there
myself?
Is that remaining 64, or is that been diluted since?
No, so the founders and myself, we own almost 54%, and then we have almost 88% as ESOP for our key hires at the company and advisors.
Yeah, I hate to tell you, but I think the family and friends round pre-seed, 36%, very steep, and I understand why, but this will put you in a very difficult situation raising future rounds. But that's that.
I have heard this before. I have heard this quite a lot before, and I've accepted the criticism, and I just realized that this is something that may create an opportunity for me to discuss selling them out or having them exit maybe in the near future, hopefully.
Yeah, I think probably for the seed round, you might get away with it, but going forward, in serious investor discussions, you will have to clean that up somehow or have a plan for it. As for go-to-market, as I said, I think you're a really critical entrepreneur by the 1 hour that we've been able to spend with you. Your product,
Thank you.
however, I think it has potential, but I'm still missing the big thing. Like, I don't really see what makes it stand out from the crowd. And if I'm just thinking out loud from my region in the Nordics, then probably the most known ed tech is Kahoot. It's a Norwegian startup, and one thing that they did very clever, that instead of going through individual students or teachers, they cater to the schools. So the software were immediately driven by the teachers. So the teachers will start using their product in a classroom, and then also offline. And ever since they got Microsoft on board, they got Northzone on board, they got Disney on board. But the way that Kahoot used teachers for the market adoption, the product adoption, was really brilliant. And also, of course, the product at the time was really different from anything that was out there. In your case, I think you seem to be brilliant. You have a good idea, and I don't know your market as well, but it seems that you're onto something. But for me, it's not special enough yet. I think if you would learn maybe, we discussed earlier, maybe the feedback loop to the parent to create a bit of more transparency, and then seeing the progress the kid does and so forth gets you a bit closer. But in general, well done.
Thank you.
There are a few things here and there. I'm happy to maybe take it offline and then discuss it with you, give some more advice. Not to spend too much time here, but yeah, this is what
I would love to comment on that, maybe offline during the call that you and I can possibly have. But one thing to note is that I think and I assume that when it comes to tutoring, preferences differ from one market to another, and how people seek or try to find tutors differ from one market to another. Saudi is very advanced when it comes to applications, or let's talk about the market very briefly. It's very advanced when it comes to applications and use of software. But what we realized from a study we conducted in Saudi earlier last year, we asked 400 parents and students and tutors across different universities and schools. We realized that 93% of them still use word of mouth as their main channel when they want to look for tutors. Imagine that. And basically, a simple product like this, which we start off by just connecting them with the profiles, is exactly what they need for the time being. How we can enhance it moving forward, and what are the learnings that we can get from this experience, and the value that we can add on our platform, highly depends on the team behind it. And I'm very, of course, not to brag, but we're very happy with the team of highly passionate edupreneurs that we have with us today. And I think with them, and with great advisors, with people like you, of course, and the rest of the esteemed committee, I think we can realize, the gaps that are missing and fill them out through our application.
Well done.
Thanks for the questions, Bruno. And then finally, we're going to bring Joy to the stage. I think, Khaled, Joy had maybe a hesitation around the fact that it's hard to own because of it's an open marketplace and the tutor meets the student in person. It's hard to kind of own that relationship and the same dynamic that, say, an Airbnb kind of forces you to go through the platform. But Joy, I'm going to bring you to the stage. I don't know if this is up your alley for your angel career that you've newly started.
Yeah, well, you know that I'm the most outspoken person in the room. So today you got quiet, Joy, which is not the usual, right? I think, in our last talk, we went over how I feel. I'm just a little concerned about the defensibility of it. Because like I said, there's you don't have to go through the platform, and that scares me a little bit. When you don't have to go through the platform, I'm a little hesitant, because then you don't really own the customer. And that's something that scares me a little bit, right? So I'm going to tell you what I've told other people. Try to figure out a way that you actually own the customer. So that's really
Thank you, Joy.
I think you already knew that, right?
Well, Joy, do you think it makes sense, the fact that tutors, they want to improve their ranking and their discoverability on the platform, and so by going through the platform, they're able to get more 5 stars usages?
That's one locking in strategy that we're using.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, there has to be something to retain them, right? And I mean, you know, at Fetcher, I built the company to 6,000 employees, so in 6 countries in the Middle East. So you know that I have a real understanding of the Arab mentality. I'm American from Silicon Valley, from the Bay Area. You know that.
We have to give the benefit of the doubt. We always
You
have
know,
to give the benefit of
you
the
know,
doubt.
no, my brain is you know, the Bay Area, but my heart is the Middle East, right? And I really understand the Arab mentality. And you know, Arabs, if they think they can get one over on you without paying $1.
But it's not always the case, Joy. No, it's not always the case. It's not always the case.
Hey, listen, Andrew,
I-
Jewish is like that too. So let's unify it as a Middle Eastern
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, we're all guilty.
Let's unify that. Okay, that's one thing we have in common, right? So I'm just trying to say that I think, Khaled, you just really need to work on figuring out how it can be defensible. I mean, look, there's market share. You know, customer acquisition, you know, I agree with, you know, going through schools, right? Because then it's a platform where, you know, it's a business platform where you get an audience that's really quickly acquired. So I think you need to I think what you're doing is great. I think you've done an amazing job. I just think you need to kind of figure out your magic sauce.
Sure. We'll definitely be focusing and working on that
The
process
magic
here.
sauce. The magic
Thank you,
sauce.
Joy.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Joy.
All right, thank you so much, Joe. Well, Khaled, that was a great job. Unfortunately, I have no capital raise live on this call, but I will certainly be following up with all these introductions, and we'll see if Khaled's able to close some of this money behind the scenes, which is where all the real stuff happens, anyways. But Khaled, anything you want to sign
Thank you for
off
the
with, or
opportunity.
any closing statements?
Thank you for the opportunity. It was really a pleasure. And I just want to wrap up by saying that what we discussed regarding, because I saw consensus on how important this is for our application, regarding the dashboard and regarding the how parents and students can monitor their progress. I believe this is a brilliant idea that I'm going to be discussing with my co-founder, hopefully, Omar, within the next few days or so. And hopefully I'll get back to you with great updates about this matter. Thank you again for this opportunity. Pleasure speaking to all of you.
Well, thank you so much, Khaled. And if you're tuning in on Facebook, Hopin, Twitter, hope you guys are enjoying it. And if you're tuning in on, I guess I'm not sure exactly what happened to YouTube. It looks like the YouTube stream got cut off, but that is all right. But thank you all for tuning in to the first pitch from Pitch Meet Live. I'm going to bring all of our judges on just for a final goodbye. I see AZ already turned off, but Elizabeth and Renaud, just want to thank you guys both for joining us today.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
A lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
For having me.
Awesome. So guys, again, Hopin is where all the magic is happening right now. That's where we're facilitating all the one-on-one networking. And again, we kept that email list super curated. And so if you're in Hopin and on the left-hand side of the screen, there's a networking button. And that's where you can get connected to all the other stakeholders on the MENA ecosystem that are tuning in today. But guys, I'm going to go dark on this screen real quick, hop over to our other broadcasts where we're going to have the first place winner, Finlect, a Dubai-based fintech startup focused on Gen Z, is going to be pitching their own panel of 3 MENA sharks. So stay tuned for that, guys, and we'll be live on that front in about 5 minutes.